Ever stop to think about what makes a government tick? So often, it's built on just mountains of paper. But what if one simple digital change could, transform everything? Today, we're going to look at how moving from paper to pixels is kicking off a quiet but absolutely massive revolution in public service. Okay, let's get into it.
So it all starts with a pretty simple question. What is the real cost of a single piece of paper? I mean, it seems tiny, right? But when you multiply that by millions of people, thousands of departments, well, the answer is just staggering. And we are definitely not just talking about the price of the paper itself. Okay, so before we jump into the solution, it's so important to really get a handle on the scale of the problem. Let's take a step back into the world of a paper-based government, and you'll see all these hidden costs that just slow everything way down.
This really gets to the physical side of the problem. I mean, think about it for a second. Every single document has to be printed, probably multiple times. Then it has to be physically couriered from one office to another. All that paper needs huge filing rooms, costing a fortune in just real estate and logistics. And that's not even touching the massive environmental hit from all of it.
But, the costs go way beyond just logistics. There's the human factor. Physical papers, well, they lead to typos and clerical errors. Files get lost, they get misplaced, creating these huge, frustrating delays. The sheer amount of work it takes to process all this paper creates bottlenecks. And these slow, manual things like getting a document officially stamped can grind the entire system to a halt. It's a nightmare.
So, with all those problems stacked up, what's the solution? Well, it turns out to be a really simple but incredibly powerful idea: the digital locker. Let's dig into what this is all about. At its core, a digital locker is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's this super secure online space where official documents, we're talking birth certificates, licenses, diplomas, you name it, can be created, stored, and verified all in a digital format. No paper, no physical files, simple as that. But here is the absolutely crucial point. This is not just a digital filing cabinet. No way. This is a complete overhaul of the system. It's like a brand new engine for government that completely changes how information moves, how services get delivered, and how different departments actually work together. And, well, when you change out the entire engine, you start to get some incredible results. Let's look at the real, concrete benefits of this shift, which end up creating a smarter government and, for sure, a greener planet.
I mean, the difference between the two systems is just night and day. The old way, you're physically stamping a document. The new way uses a secure digital signature. Instead of digging through some dusty archive, retrieval is now instant. The risk of errors or losing a file is replaced by these high-integrity, totally traceable records. And sharing? Forget waiting for a courier. It's secure and happens immediately. This whole process creates an entirely new, super efficient workflow. So a department can digitally create and sign a document. Boom. It's then shared instantly and securely through the locker. The department on the other end can verify it in just a few seconds. The whole thing becomes smooth, standardized, and unbelievably fast. And the effect of this new workflow? It's a dramatic reduction, pretty much across the board. That crushing clerical workload just plummets. The human bottlenecks that used to cause these endless delays, they're practically eliminated. And maybe, most importantly, that fundamental dependence on physical paper is finally broken. So, what are government employees doing with all this extra time? That's actually the best part. This kind of administrative digitization frees them up from just pushing paper so they can focus on what really matters: higher value public engagement. They can spend way more time actually helping people and solving complex problems. Okay, now let's zoom out. Because the real power of this system isn't just in one single transaction. It's in the compounding impact of millions of them, where all these small changes start to lead to massive, society-wide results. This quote from the source material just says it all. Every single time a document is processed digitally instead of on paper, it's a small win for the environment. But those wins, well, they compound across millions of transactions annually, adding up to a truly colossal environmental benefit. Millions. Let that number sink in for a second. Millions of paper-free transactions every single year. This is the scale we're talking about here. It's not some little side project. It's a fundamental transformation of how the government works.
So, what are the ultimate outcomes of all this? It creates this fantastic virtuous cycle. You get faster policy implementation because all the documents you need move instantly. Public services become way more predictable when they don't depend on a piece of paper showing up.
administrative accuracy skyrockets, and of course, the environmental footprint shrinks dramatically.
So when you pull it all together, the end result is actually pretty simple. By getting rid of all the friction that paper causes, the entire system just works better. Public services become more reliable. Policies can go from an idea to reality so much faster. And the government as a whole becomes more responsive to its citizens and just way more efficient.
This quiet revolution started with a simple digital locker, and it has already transformed the machinery of government. It leaves us with a final and pretty fascinating question to think about. Now that our documents are instant, what other impossibly slow process should government tackle next?